Time to make some power. What is going on, beautiful people? My name's Mitch. This is the Big Rig Racing YouTube channel, and today we're making a cold air intake for our little Hyundai XL race car. And what a lovely day it is. It is overcast, it is cool, there's a bit of a breeze blowing, but most importantly, we get to work on race car stuff. So, in this spot right here is where Bruno's old heavy duty battery used to sit. We've taken that out, and in this spot will be going our cold air intake. Right up here we've got a 60 to a 76 mil reducer, which will go on there like so. It'll kick down here, and then I've got a 45-degree bend right here, 3-inch 45-degree bend, which will then join onto our airbox, which I have slightly mocked up right here, which will go in like so, and it'll sit in there nicely. We have a beautiful, nice blue K&N filter that will be sitting there in there as well. And you may ask, well, if the battery's gone, where's it going to? Very shortly I'll be ordering a new battery, and we're going to run the cables into the cabin, and the battery will be sitting, I'm thinking, down in the passenger footwell of this car. But in the meantime, I went and picked up some alloy today, just some 1.2 mil alloy that we'll cut up and put it all together, make a nice little box, a nice lid that'll come down, slope down with the aim is to slope it down with the contour of the body here, and have it just sitting across here. Air then can flow across the top of the headlight, or I'll probably make a little duct that comes up underneath. But that is the general shape that we are aiming for. And the first thing is we have to get this aluminium cut out, put together and built. So I'm going to start getting to that. I've got some alloy, I've got my pens, I've got a template here, a little mock-up of our box. So let's do this, let's get to it. Alright, so the first obstacle we have to overcome is obviously we've got all these lines down here we have to form around. Now, you could just make a box and just sit it in here, but I want to try and tuck it up nice and tight against this fender as well. We've also got a little clip here, which is for the bracket or the post for the hood. So we have to work around a lot of these cables and wires, and obviously you've got your headlights down here. So I'm thinking the best option is just to run a piece out and then straight back in, and a piece on the floor or on the bottom here, and come out a little bit down there. We can then screw it straight into the body down here. But at the moment we're just going to cut out this floor piece, and we can build it up from there, build it around, trying to get it as close tucked up to the fuse box there. We'll get the base done, we'll get that in, get it try and get it screwed in. We've got these two holes right here for some bolts to go in, and then get that situated. Then we can build up our sides and work our way up essentially from there, getting our nice box. We'll have to make some folds, which I'll be doing out in my shed out the back, my little garden shed. I've got a big workbench out there that I'll be using. But at the moment, we'll get this base cut out. I do have essentially 2.4 meters of alloy to use. I went to Ulrich Aluminium. They only had a 1.2 by 2.4 meter length of alloy. Now it's 1.2 mil thick, so it's not thick alloy, but it's enough. It's pretty much exactly what we need. But that's what they had, so they cut it into 800 mil widths for me. So I've got 800 by 1.2, 3 sheets of that. So when you're talking about one of our biggest pieces being this big on a sheet of alloy like that, if we need to recut stuff, we can. And the beautiful thing is, being 1.2 mil thick, it's nice and easy to cut with some decent tin snips. So we don't have to use jigsaws and stuff like that. Just cut it out, make some nice neat lines, cut it out. It'll be easy to bend as well. So I'll mark this one up, cut it out, and then we can start getting it situated in the car. beautiful overcast day just turned to some nice rain. Oh, that'll cool things off a bit. While that was happening, I got the base of our airbox in, so it's nice and square to the side of the car. The side will come up here, your back obviously. I won't need to put anything across here, but all I have to do is now make up two sides, one for this one, one for this one, and then down here I've got some aluminium angle that I'll just screw into the car across here, I think. And then the lid will sit on top of that, just underneath that clip right there. So it'll sit just in here and out, and it'll come down nicely like that. So now we start working on the side. So now I just have to figure out which tabs I'm going to put where to connect it all up and together. I might even just use riv nuts for the bottom. Obviously, if I want to get this off, I can just take it off in two pieces instead of one, because it'll be just a pain in the backside getting it all in one piece. So I can put maybe a riv nut there, and a couple along here. We'll wait and see how it all comes together. But yeah, I'll work on this side now, getting it up to the right height, and then we'll work on. Oh, actually, I might even start on this side. This might be a little bit easier on this side, and then we'll build that up and get it nice and level. Okay, here's where we're at, guys. This is our bottom plate right there. So I've got the two holes right here that'll screw into the chassis, and another one there that'll screw in. I've got 3 holes down here, which will then take our side plate. Now the side plate, this part along the top still has to be bent over to attach to the back plate. The side plate will sit on there like that, okay, which will start our box out. It was a pretty dodgy bend job, but it's not too bad. I don't know if you can see it right there. It's not too bad. It'll do the job. What I will be doing is, because I'm going to put riv nuts along here just to make it a bit easier, I could rivet it, but then getting it in and out of the car with the rivets would be a bit of a, because it'd be all connected together, you couldn't pull it apart. If I ever need to get in there quickly, instead of trying to jiggle it around and try and pull it out, because it's riveted together, I'm just going to riv nut it. And then I've got some of this roll seal here. I'm just going to put a strip along there where the riv nuts go, and then I'll just screw this piece together like that, and I'll create a nice airtight seal in there. Because obviously when you put the riv nuts in, there's a little bit of a lip on the riv nut, and I really just don't want to have a little bit of a gap there. So I'm just going to seal it off with some of this, and then we'll riv nut it together, put it together, and then that'll be the side, and then I'll put it back in the car and show you what it looks like. Alright guys, been doing a bit of work since in between spots there. Even got so sweaty I had to go change my shirt. But this is where we're at. This is the base. So it'll sit in the car like so. Now I got the black foam strip. I've just cut little holes around the riv nuts. They sit in there nicely, and the edge clamps down nicely on that. That's our edge there. That'll sit there. And then this is the back piece right there. So that'll go across there like that. Now the gap just in here is for the hoses and stuff that I showed you at the start. So we're going to put this together really quick, knock it out, and then we'll get this thing in the car and show you what it's looked like, because then we have to start working on the lid, getting that all taken care of. Alright guys, so it took a bit longer to get in than I thought it would. Just some fiddly little screws, so it rattles around a bit at the moment, but I've still got to make the lid. So I've got the lid it'll just come straight across here, down across here, and then back up along here. I had to make it low enough so it would sit below the bar here for the bonnet. I'll show you the filter we've got going in there, and that'll be, I think, tomorrow's mission. That'll be the filter sitting in there like that somewhere, nice and tidily, and then you got your hoses and your pipe work coming down here. Nice little K&N filter. And then I have got some supports I'm going to put underneath this side of the box, just to keep it nice and rigid so it's not flopping around everywhere. And obviously this will come up to about there once it's all in properly and fastened down. So that's where we're at the moment. I'm going to try and get this lid done now before the sun's starting to go down. It's almost dinner time. We might have to come back tomorrow, so if I pick it up tomorrow, don't be alarmed. It is my last few days of holidays, so I'm just trying to get as much done on this now as possible before I go back to work and start teaching kids online. So I'll try and get this lid measured up now and get working on that. Alright boys and girls, day 2. I'm just racing out to get some essential items for this airbox. It is essential travel because I might be able to use this essentially for some projects for work in the future if I need to. What I'm heading out to get today is just a basic hole saw kit, nothing major. I don't need to go and spend 60 bucks on one hole saw, or 30 or 40 bucks. It is only 1.2 mil alloy, which means it's not thick. I'm just going to get a really basic hole saw kit that I found from a place here in Townsville, and then we'll head home and finish off this airbox. But while we are heading in to get this, I thought we'd have a bit of a chat about why we're putting a cold air intake on this car. With a normal car, you do have an airbox in it, which does suck air through the use of a filter, like we will be using a different type of filter, but that airbox is located in the engine bay. It's usually black plastic, which really doesn't stop heat. It can get fairly warm, as can alloy, but the beautiful thing about our cold air intake is that it provides cold air into the engine, because we can get cold air from outside the car as we're driving or racing. For my Year 6 students at home, or students that are watching at home, what you need to know is there's 3 main things that go into making a car go. One is a fuel source, being obviously petrol or your fuel. You need an ignition, being your spark plug, providing that ignition, and you need air or oxygen. Now, we can already have 2 of those things. We have the fuel source coming in through the injectors, being the fuel that we're going to be using when we race. We have our spark plugs in the car providing that ignition source, but we could easily just put a normal just airbox on, slap something together and put it together to provide air. But when that air inside the engine bay gets hot or warm, that air then becomes less dense. What we want is some cold air. It is more dense, and when air is more dense, it has more oxygen. So the more oxygen we have going in, the greater the power that is going to be coming out of the back end of the engine for our race car. Now, I'm not talking we're going to be gaining like hundreds of horsepower with this, but it is a gain enough that nearly everyone will run a cold air intake on their race car in the XL series. If not, most people would be running some sort of intake induction system, whether it be turbocharged car, supercharged car. If it's a naturally aspirated car, you're probably looking at some sort of air intake system. you look at the supercars, they run an air intake straight up underneath the front bar, straight up over the top of the engine and straight into the trumpets on top of their V8 engine also. We'll go and get this hole saw kit. I need that so I can then cut the hole in the back of the airbox to put the connect the pipe work up. Obviously trying to make the pipe work as short as possible, but also not putting a whole bunch of bends in there, because you would like to have the path of least resistance for our cold air to make it to the engine. So 245s, I've got a aluminium spacer that I'll be using there to join the two pipes together, and then I will have to get some clamps at some point as well to put on the silicon hoses for this engine. So we'll go get this hole saw kit, and then we'll head back home and get the holes cut out for it. I did do some work to the lid last night. I just have to make one slight bend in it, and then it should be good to go. But other than that, the box is pretty much complete, and then we'll get to fitting up our pipe work. Alright guys, we are back from getting our little hole saw kit. Picked up a nice little drink on the way home, Max Taste, no sugar. Gotta love the Pepsi Max. And gotta love our airbox that we have coming along. So it's looking very, very nice. I've cut a hole there for the support there for the hood. It sits down there nicely. I had to cut a little bit of a hole for the actual end of it to sit into. That there is for our rubber. That hole there is for our rubber stop for our bonnet, and then I also have to cut a hole for our bonnet pin to come through. And then I just got to run one bend from this corner down here. It's marked on the other side, just to bend it down to match the profile of the support across here. It's not going to be that much of a bend, but it is looking so far absolutely fantastic. And then this will come out and match up nicely. I also did have to cut a bit of a slot out of the side just here so it can slide straight under the metalwork there and sit in place like that. So it is looking really, really good so far. So I'm really happy with the way it's coming out. Obviously our filter will sit in there. Our pipe work will run out the back and straight up, nice 45-degree angles. And then we'll get it all buttoned up and put together. There will be over in this corner, there will be I'm thinking a catch can going in here. I don't know if we'll put it there or back there. I'm thinking more likely here. Just to catch the blow-by from the engine from the back up here. So just take those off, run the hoses down to the catch can down there. But we'll get this taken care of so then we can mount up the filter, hoses and things like that, and then get this thing finished and squared away. Before anyone asks, I know this looks a bit janky. When I had issues trying to get the engine started, this plug here was actually really brittle that was on here, and then when I replaced it, I just had to replace some of the wires, and they were different colors that go from here out to down here. So what I did is I just got some wire the same color, matched them all up, and then I will be getting a replacement plug as well for this. So that's the plan, and we'll see if we'll just tidy it up, I think, and just tuck all those wires back down there, make it look a little bit nicer and neater, and then get that taken care of. But that's for another day. We'll get this finished and then get it all squared away. Alright, that is our completed airbox. She's nice and sturdy. I might still put a bracket underneath it just to keep it in place a little bit. This is our little stand for our bonnet. Sits in there like that. We'll then have the hole just for the rubber grommet that sets the height of the bonnet. And then this will be where our bonnet pin, same as the one on this side, right here. That's where that one will go, but it's It's really sturdy. I've put a bit of foam, same as at the bottom, I've put a bit of foam underneath on the lid just to keep it nice and tight down there. But now we've got to move on to getting the pipe work done. So we'll be using these two pieces here, plus I've got a piece of aluminium or stainless steel pipe, 3-inch pipe that'll be going on. I will have to cut these, but I just need to figure out now the best way to run these pipes onto this box with the filter, and which we're going to run. Obviously, these cables here are obviously going to feed back into the cabin, so I'll probably feed those back in there first at some stage, move them out of the way. But we'll get this lid back off so then we can figure out where we want to run the pipe work and the filter. But I am absolutely stoked with the way that has come out. And the beautiful thing is all riveted up together, so if we need to pull it apart and change something because something's not quite right, we haven't wasted a whole bunch of alloy. We can literally just pull one side off and fix that part up. So if I mess up the back for the hole for the pipe, I can just change that over. If I'm not happy with something on the side or something like that, I just change it all over. But at this point in time, very, very happy with it, the way it's turned out. Okay, so to make this work, we have to fit this filter in here like so. Okay, then run that 45. All right, I'll have to cut it down to make it fit properly, and then also cut this one down, which is a 60 to 76 reducer. So the beautiful thing is that because I've got a bit of length on the 60mm part, to get the actual distance I need to get down to make it a good fit for the airbox, I don't have to cut it all down. I can just cut it in parts until I get the right fit, which I think I might just have to cut to about there, possibly, and run it down. So what I'm going to do is I'll fit this up, get some measurements, and then when it comes to fitting up the actual filter for the into the airbox, what I did is I got some SAS pod filters here. Now, to make this really work, this was the outside diameter of this circle part right here was just a bit too big to fit in the K&N filter. Obviously, this is it's got 3 or 4 different sizes of adapters you can use. It was just a bit too big, so what I did is I was walking around Bunnings, my favourite shop, and I was walking in the drainage section, and I found a downpipe fitting. Now it's about I think it's about 72mm. We need to be 73, but what I did is I got a second pod filter adapter and I cut off this round part here. So when we bolt this up, I'll have 2 pod filter adapters the same, so the bolt holes will still be the same when we put them together, like in there like that. But this I've cut up nicely, so that will fit nicely through there. I'll put it this way, like that, and that'll fit in. It actually gives a nice big grip range for this K&N filter to grip onto when we tighten it up. So that'll fit in there nicely, like so, like that. So if you're looking for something, an adapter that'll fit really well with a 76mm, actually it might be a 75mm downpipe thing. Yeah, 75mm. If you're looking for something that's going to fit a 76mm pod filter, grab one of these, just cut the back off it. I literally just use a Dremel. Make sure you use glasses because you will get hot plastic everywhere. Fire it through like that, and then you can just literally bolt it on to match up with your other one, which this one will have the silicone hose joining to it there. So, and it does fit. I test fit it earlier on. It's a bit of a tight squeeze. There we go. So that fits on there nicely like that, nice and firmly. and then that will then sit that side. This will then fit this side and make it work. Obviously I'm gonna have to cut it down to go past the brake reservoir and all that stuff. So let's get to bocking this up, fitting it, and we'll see how we do. Hot day today, but I've got our filter in. It's just mocked up at the moment. Just got one band up there, just loosely holding that on. But that's generally what's going to look like. And it's joining in down the back there. Lid fits on perfectly. I test fit before, so that's heaps of room in there for some nice cold air to come through. I might even put some of that gold heat wrap on this side. The filter is just sitting on the edge there, but I'm not too fussed about that. As long as the lid fits on and it fits in there nicely. So I'm actually really happy with the way that's turned out. I'll just have to now drill a few holes, and then I've got to cut the hole for the filter for the air to pass through. I haven't cut the hole with the hole saw yet. So I'll pull this out, I'll drill the other holes and I'll pull it off and then cut it out, and then I'll hook it all up and should be good to go. And that is now all buttoned up, all nice and tight. Once I put the lid on this box, it stiffens it up really well. Again, I will put some brackets underneath it just to give it a bit more support, but that is absolutely fantastic. That'll be getting all the good air through there, nice and firm. I did have that 3-inch piece of stainless or aluminium through there. Can't remember which one it is. It's a bit of intercooler pipe, so it's fairly sturdy, but yeah, it's a bit of a weird fit down here just because of the angle of it. So I may just have to make an adjustment there somewhere with the black pipe. I've got enough there that I made the intercooler pipe starts there and finishes down here, so I can still spread it out a little bit more if I need to, because there's the gap right there, so I can spread it out and get a bit more of an adjustment in there. But at this point in time, I'm very happy with that. So now I'll just put the lid on, it'll be good to go, and then eventually I will drill another hole, probably just down there somewhere, for the for a pipe to come up, getting some fresh air if we can't get enough through the headlight. But at this point in time, I think that'll be serving our purpose well, because we're not actually going out racing at any time soon. So I'll put the lid on and I'll show you what it looks like all buttoned up with the cold air intake pipe and all that done up nicely. Well, there you have it, guys. Our intake is now done in our car. I'm really happy with that. It's exactly how I pictured it coming out. So stoked, not too fussed about a few scratches, gives it a bit of character. But it is, in my eyes, perfect for what I want to do. It's exactly how I pictured it in my head coming out, right down to the pipe work, things like that. So we'll leave it at that, guys. I will see you hopefully sometime soon. The next thing we'll have to do is we've got all these battery cables here, because obviously the battery sat in here where the cold air box is. That will then have to be moved, so we'll have to run the cables into the cabin and mount the battery inside. So I'm getting a new battery for it, because old Bruno's heavy duty battery down there was just way too heavy and a bit big. So we're mounting that in the cabin, just saving up for a few different things, including the roll cage again. But like I said, guys, it's a work in progress. We're just trying to chip away at getting little things done here and there, making it as best as we possibly can, and making it look good. So that will look really good when we put our oil catch can in there. I think that'll look absolutely spectacular next to each other, and to be honest, it just makes it look real race car right now. So I'm stoked. Time to clean up, because it's an absolute mess over there. If I don't clean up, my wife's going to get absolutely cranky at me, because she wants to put a car in the garage. So I'll leave it there. I'll see you sometime soon with another little installment of our build. If you haven't already, like the video, subscribe. Thank you to everyone that is subscribing to my videos. I very, very much appreciate it. I love seeing the feedback from you guys. I'm getting emails from different people. One person, Blake, thank you. He came and asked me if he could get the pattern for the door cards, because he really liked the door cards that I did. So drew up a pattern for him, sent it down there for him, to him. So I hope he really appreciates that. Hope it worked out for you. But yeah, I'll see you soon, guys. Remember, again, like, subscribe, leave a comment, share the video for others to see as well. And I'll see you very soon. Catch you guys. Bye.